Hi everyone, I'm Kane, a friend of Scotty, as I'm sure everyone here is. Sorry, I I didn't know I was moderating until just now, but we are here to honor the life of a great friend, brother, son, just overall great guy, and you know, still can't believe Scotty isn't with us anymore, but today we're just going to talk about him a bit, memories about Scotty. We're going to show some of his work, stuff that he worked on, music. And then afterwards we'll just talk about him a bit after we show some of his work. And if anyone else wants to come up and talk about Scotty, their memories of Scotty, then feel free. And so this will get out. Unless you guys want to introduce yourselves.
Well, a lot of people know me. My name's Todd, go by Hutch. Known Scotty for, known Scotty for, I don't know, what, 10, 12 years now. So, done numerous projects. Taxi. And a lot of people know that joke. Just here to honor him.
Hi, my name is Freddie Kask. I worked with my brother Eric many years ago when the convention was in Mesa. My brother started as the film festival director, and I just kind of tagged along to help out. As part of that original film festival staff, there was Todd Hutch over here, was part of our staff, as well as Scotty. We worked closely together. We worked on, after the con that we stopped being part of the film festival, we formed a small film production company together. So just many memories of him, and I'll say a little bit more about his role, I guess, in the con after. But that's my connection. So I worked with him. He was a good, dear friend of mine, and he just loved these cons, and I miss him. I just mentioned in one post on Facebook that I'm walking around and I just kind of like on the floor, and I just see like so many bald heads from the back, and there's like his body shape and his form, and I was like, Scotty? It's like I had to go around to the front just to make sure is that him? And it's like he's almost haunting the convention floor. But
Okay, I guess we'll start with
specifics after. My brother's back there, but he's our girls, so he was a big part of that whole time.
So yeah, we'll start with the slideshow. Some of you have seen this already, but it does feature Scotty's music over it. It's all the music playing was done by him. So all right, we'll just get started. I hope the volume is working.
park around we can go to?
Not for another 5 blocks. Why?
It's just... Is there a bus stop near here?
Yeah, but buses won't run for a while.
Do you want to talk about it?
It's just... I wish I could go back. That spot, that very spot. If I wouldn't have asked, I wouldn't be trapped in this mess.
Have you talked to her?
Kinda. Just don't know the right way to say it. Whoa! What the... Did I go back in time? This can't be real.
Earth to Scotty. Is it broken?
Huh?
Your watch, Scully. Is it broken?
There's still time. But after all these years, I still don't know how to do this.
Are you okay, sweetie? Scott, what is it? You're freaking me out.
Okay.
You didn't want to be with me anymore. Could have just said so.
It was easier than I thought.
Okay, so that was down and out, and there was also a line you had to use. It was the
Yeah,
very last one.
That was
yeah,
easier than
easier than I thought. Yeah, and we had to have a prop.
with the
What was the
mirror
prop on that? Was that
reflection.
no? That wasn't that one. It was. I think it was the watch, a timepiece of something we had to use.
Yeah.
And there was a theme. I don't remember what the theme for that one was. I don't know. So that's
Were
what
you guys
we.
shooting in the summer?
That was beginning of the year, so I think it's February.
Oh, okay.
So-
How many takes did you do?
Oh, several. and the camera was on a Steadicam, and it was like the first movie that we used the Steadicam. I was so tired holding that thing. Yeah, it was rough. So.
Cool. Well, all right. We'll go to the next one. This is VX2. I believe this was another film challenge movie.
This was a one-shot as well.
Was this the same challenge?
Yes, it was shot in 2010.
Oh, great. 2010.
So
Okay.
this is the next year's.
And this is Diane Dresbach's movie. Scotty, you'd probably assume I was the ninja, but I wanted to switch things up a bit. So this was a first in. I started a comedy project called Bidding Well, and this was meant to be a test shoot that I did with Scotty. We went out to the park, and I ended up liking it so much. I just ended up using it as sort of the first official short. But yeah, it was. I remember about this one. We had a little crew at the beginning, and then it was just Scotty and I because everyone had to leave, and I had to set up the camera that was unmanned, and I had to press record and then run back and sit next to Scotty and do the scene, and we were like our own crew, and we were out under the sun for a few hours, and I remember Scotty a couple days later said, my head got sunburned and it's peeling, and but he was so happy to do this movie. But he was especially proud after. He just liked being front and center in a comedy movie. So this is Fashion Assassin.
I have to say that's one of my favorites.
Easily.
Chuckle, and I've always wanted them to like do like a series or something of it. I wish it had gone further.
Going to the
I wanted to see like other episodes of the. I think you guys worked really well together and had really good comedic like timing together, and I always wish that there was more.
Well, thanks. Yeah, and the original intention was to go into a montage where I was taking him to like get fitted for a suit and like learn how to walk cool, and but we never got around to it. But that's one of my favorites too, and Scotty loved being in that one, and he was very appreciative to be front and center in a comedy. So. We'll go right into another comedy. This is Change of Eddie, and this was also done for a film challenge, directed by Diane Dresbach, who also did the X2 that we showed earlier. And this was sort of a mockumentary about a band. So I was the singer, and Scotty was the drummer, and he has awesome hair in this one.
Just close all tab. There you go.
So yeah, that was what a day. Scotty's directorial debut, which he wrote the film too. And actually, Scotty had a script he was working on before he passed that was very sci-fi and 80s, much like things Scotty was into, which we are in talks to make. So after the summer's over, we want to go into good pre-production and make his film as a tribute to Scotty. But yeah, so that flew by. Anyways, I just wanted to talk a little bit about my memories of Scotty, my favorite memories. First one that comes to mind was actually here at Comicon. There was a Suns player, forgive me, I'm not a sports guy, so I don't know which Suns player it was, who was walking through the lobby and people were crowding him. What's that? Robin Lopez? Okay, sure. Robin Lopez. And people were crowding him and getting his autograph, and he happened to have a friend with him that was a very tall guy. It looks like he could have been a Suns player, and while everyone was getting his Robin Lopez's autograph, Scotty went up to his friend and held out his little booklet to get his autograph, and the guy looked at him and said, I'm not a Suns player. And Scotty just went, okay, can I get your autograph anyways? So that was him. He wanted everyone to feel included, and as a lot of people mentioned at the service the other day, Scotty was just someone that would go up and introduce himself to anyone, and you know, like he was your best friend. And I'm trying to think of you know, some other things about Scotty. It was you know, last time I hung out with Scotty was a couple weeks before he passed, and we went to go see Fear Factory, which was one of his favorite bands. And I met up with him at a bar before the show, and I remember walking in, and he was working on his iPad, and he was working on music right as I walked in. And you know, we had some drinks, had a very nice dinner, and he was telling me, you know, as he had been for the past year, just telling me all the plans he had, how enthusiastic he was for the future, and everything that he wanted to work on. And he was talking about quitting drinking too. And so many drinks later that night, he was right in front of the band singing every song, you know, right along with the band. He knew every word. So it was nice the last time I hung out with Scotty to see him, you know, sort of in his element and just having a great time. And
if I could just jump in, one time I went with both of you guys. You invited me to the old Martini Ranch, and there was a band there, now Wasted Grain, down in Old Town Scottsdale. And I remember it was one of those types of bands, hard rock, death metal. You know, I just characterize it as loud. And and we're listening to it, listening to the back, and it was okay. And they formed like a little mosh pit in front and start slam dancing. And Scotty's like, "Oh, I'm getting into this," and he just goes right in the middle and starts slam dancing with like these.
Scotty Mosh Pit was what we knew him as.
Yep, like one of these, you know, all these biker type guys and these goth kids and stuff, and there's Scotty right in the middle. Like, I was like, oh my gosh, that's just the way he would just embrace life. He would just enjoy things, and he would just throw himself in it. And I was just blown away by him, like, doing that.
So, yeah, it was, whenever I would hang out with Scotty and go pick him up, one constant thing I would always expect is he would spend at least 15 or 20 minutes just telling me about what he was up to, because he was always so excited to tell me what, you know, the music he was working on, the movie ideas he had, and I would listen to him. You know, we'd be driving and I'd listen to him, and you know, for 15 or 20 minutes I couldn't get a word in, which was fine because I wanted to listen to what he was up to. And then he'd always stop and say, you know, "Sorry, man, I've been rambling. You know, what have you been up to?" So you know, I just know wherever Scotty is right now, I'm sure he can't wait to tell me about traveling through time and space, and he can't wait to tell me again what he's been up to when I eventually
how
see him
amazing
again.
the music is up there.
That's right.
His composing, that's just probably being God's composer right now.
And he won't let me talk for at least 20 minutes, just, you know, while we're catching up. So,
I'm sure they have an awesome sound system.
but yeah, we only have a couple minutes left, but would anyone like to say anything?
Well, let me just tell just one story related with the film festival and the con itself. His effect that I felt that he had working behind the scenes and meeting all the filmmakers and all that was just a thrill for him. He always enjoyed it. He always wanted to learn from that craft and grow in terms of his own craft. But like I said, he was really the technical guy of our staff. And I remember that same year, 2008, I believe, was the year they had the preview for a Star Trek sort of fan film that was made by industry people called of Gods and Men. Is that correct?
Yep.
Gods and Men. And we were doing that world premiere, like, for the first time, or one of the few cons that was doing it. That was the year, like I said, Chekhov and Tuvok were there. And we had some executive producer from Star Trek. These people weren't involved with Paramount, so it was kind of a fan film, but Nichelle Nichols, Uhura was in that. So it was like, kind of like what they called something for the fans that they made. And we were doing the premiere for it. And over there at Mesa, the film room is probably about this size. We had one room, maybe about 100 people you could fit in. For that premiere, there's like 3 meeting rooms right across the way, and what they did is they opened up the walls so we could do a preview so that as many people could see it, because it was a very popular thing. This was kind of thrown on us like last minute, and as the film staff, we had to get all of our equipment all the way all across to the room, set up the screen. You know, we threw everyone out while we had a little bit of time to do it. And I remember Joe just left, but a young director of programming, Joe, at that time was pulling his hair out in the hallways, and people were gathering out there and getting ready for this world premiere. And it was really Scotty that was just the star of this whole thing. The way he hooked it up, I mean, I remember him, I could still see the image of him with that bald head just sweating, pouring down as he's just feverishly getting it. You know, the rest of us were my brother was learning a little bit about technical stuff, and I very little, but Scotty was the one who hooked that all together. Short story, I mean, it was a packed house. We had, like I said, Chekhov, Tuvok, both, they were all there. Everybody raved about it. It was the biggest thing, probably the con, definitely the film festival had done up to that point. And everybody raved about it afterwards. It was the greatest thing. It was, it really built up the film festival. And I believe that those types of events, because we did have media guests like that, these people all talk to each other. Celebrities talk to each other just like everyone else, and they say, what are the good cons and which is the good ones to go to? And it was that good word of mouth that later got all these different Star Trek people. Not just Star Trek, but they all, like I said, all talk to each other. We got the, next year was Marina Counselor. We got Brett Spiner. We used to joke Will Wheaton was here so many years. He was part of staff. And later, eventually here in Phoenix, you got Riker. You got all these big names: Worf, Geordi, of course Leonard Nimoy, William Shatner that same year, John Luke, Patrick Stewart, although he canceled, but still was going to come. And the point is because they all knew that Phoenix was building something, and it was something impressive to come to, and it had a really good reputation. And so when you think about that, now the film festival is really big and it's really blown out, really a large thing. But back to its origin, back to its go back, and you go further back in time, you remember pivotal moments, like if that premiere had absolutely sucked, everybody would say, oh, Phoenix is terrible to come to. But it's a moment like that, and you keep going further back, and you'll just see that little guy just sweat pouring down his head, just making it work. And this con is big because of guys like that, and specifically like Scotty and his dedication and what he did. So I just like everyone to remember that. It's often forgotten as time goes on, who was big and he's making it the huge cultural event that it now is.
Cool. Well, all right, guys, we got to wrap it up. I'm sorry, I know we wanted to have some people, say some memories about Scotty, but we can always all talk out in the lobby. And thank you, everyone, for coming. Scotty's family came along, get to check out the con, and you can see all the craziness that he was about here. So, yeah, thank you, everyone, and appreciate it. And we love you, Scotty.
Sorry, boy.